So today we're going to get into one of my favorite discussions. That's Dynasty buy, sell, hold, avoid. And Bob put avoid in here, and I love avoid because sometimes avoiding is the correct answer. So let's get right into it. Let's start with scenario one. All these guys, decent week ones. I think we could say, Nate, we're going to start with you. Buy, sell, hold, avoid. Calvin Ridley, Brandon Ayuk, Zay Flowers, Michael Pittman. Buy, sell, hold, avoid.
Yeah, so here I am buying, surprise, surprise, buying Zay Flowers. Watching that game on Sunday, the Ravens are feeding the ball to Zay Flowers. Now, Mark Andrews was out. Bateman's still coming back from a Liz Frank injury. OBJ, he is what he is. So Zay Flowers is not going to have like the 60% target share he had or whatever this week, every single week. But Zay Flowers has shown that the Ravens are willing to get him the ball. He's probably the wide receiver one there already. He's the wide receiver one there for that team. That Todd Monken offense is going to look better. They didn't play any of their starters in preseason. It sure looked like it week one. So I'm buying Zay Flowers. If I can go out there and get Zay Flowers for a late 2024 first, if there's anyone out there that's maybe rebuilding and looking just to, re-roll in the 2024, making that move, I'm willing to throw a late 24 second on top of that as well for Lamar Jackson's wide receiver one. I am holding on to Calvin Ridley if I had any Calvin Ridley to hang on to. Unfortunately, he's making me look bad. I kind of doubted him. I thought he was going to be rusty, and he went out there, and he is the bona fide wide receiver one for Trevor Lawrence. Wheels up for Calvin Ridley. I love what he put up week one. I think it's just going to be better and better throughout this whole year. Really sad about my Christian Kirk shares, but that's how it goes. I am selling Brandon Ayuk because he had a great game, but I do not believe in that 49ers offense being consistently great for him. George Kittle will have his weeks. Debo Samuel will have his weeks. Lucky enough, Ayuk went off at the same time as CMC, so good for him. And then I'm avoiding Michael Pittman. As good of a week that he had, I don't think the consistency from Anthony Richardson is going to be there. Anthony Richardson looked like a rookie quarterback who doesn't have a ton of experience being a high-level quarterback, and we saw that. It's going to take some time. AR did look good overall. I'm kind of excited about what he's going to be able to do this year, but I'm not going to be relying on it consistently for a guy like Michael Pittman Jr.
So I had some very slight differences in what you had. I'm buying Calvin Ridley. You think you had holding Calvin Ridley, right? Yeah, I'm going to buy in on Calvin Ridley. I still believe in Christian Kirk, to be honest with you, but I'm selling Brandon Ayuk, okay, because I think the value is definitely there. I think you said Brandon Ayuk as well. I'm holding on to Zay Flowers. I feel like you're going to have to pay a lot to buy him right now. I'm avoiding Michael Pittman. I just feel like you might be able to buy Calvin Ridley a little bit cheaper right now than Zay Flowers just because of the age. That's where I'm at there, age factor. Dynasty players, we do think about that. Chev, are you completely different than the two of us? Are you kind of on the same path? Where are you at here?
Yeah, I'm literally in the same boat as you guys. Like both of those you can go either way. Like buying Zay Flowers or buying Calvin Ridley. There's really no difference at this point. I spoke about Zay Flowers super high this last offseason. I love his game. I love all that he's going to be able to do in that offense. And, those two players, Calvin Ridley and Zay Flowers, are both paired up with bona fide studs at QB. We think Richardson can get there. He's a guy that, got banged up last game. Obviously, they said he could come back and play again, but who knows if he can stay healthy throughout the whole year. You throw Gardner Minshew in there. Is it the same offense? What does that look like? But I really liked what I saw out of that offense. And Brandon Ayuk, like we said before, there's just so many mouths to feed. So next game, Brandon Ayuk come out and maybe throw a dud up there, maybe gets a touchdown and 5 catches and 60 yards. But I really like what he has done. He has just transformed into an amazing player. He came out of the cocoon, out of the doghouse, and has just flourished into a butterfly, boys. It's a beautiful thing to see. He's turning out to be a stud.
Yeah, just because I'm selling Brandon Ayuk does not mean I don't love Brandon Ayuk. I started him across many leagues last week. Was very happy with that, and I'm excited for what he can do this year because I do think he's the wide receiver one there.
Yeah, I agree.
Over Debo pretty easily.
And if you guys remember, like the last 2 years, it was kind of one of those things where you were on the fence about starting Brandon Ayuk every week. Now he can be in your lineup somewhere on a week in, week out basis. And of course, these guys are going to have their dud weeks. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson didn't have a very Lamar Jackson-esque. Josh Allen did not have a great night.
No.
But these guys, elite players have down weeks. It just happens. So speaking of elite players, let's go to scenario number 2. Buy, sell, hold, avoid. Chev, I'm going to start with you on this one. Puka Nacua, Roshan Johnson, Rashee Rice, Demario Douglas. I'm just looking ahead, and Bob's really not making this easy for us at all tonight. But talk about, are you buy, selling, holding, avoiding the best wide receiver in the NFL? Go ahead, Chev.
Yeah, it's obvious who Matthew Stafford is eating breakfast with
There
in that
it is.
offense right now. So that's a good thing for Puka. I really liked his game, man. He really looked well. He seemed to be in the Cooper Cup role. I really liked him being there. I'm going to hold him at this moment. I'm going to buy Roshan Johnson. That game was pitiful. The Bears looked absolutely terrible. I'll be the first to say that. But Roshan was out there when passes were being thrown to running backs at that point. He had the more snaps in the second half than the other guys in that backfield. I like what I saw out of Roshan as well. He's got good hands. We'll see what happens with that offense. I don't expect it to get any worse than that. So wheels up for Roshan Johnson. I'm going to be selling Rashee Rice. I know there's a lot of good talk coming out of there about him. He did catch a touchdown in week 1. I still think he has a lot of potential. I think his value might be a little more inflated with him being in Kansas City and them needing a guy. I still think he's going to be a good player, but I'm going to be selling him. And then Demario Douglas is going to be an avoid for me, even though Mac Jones looked the best he's looked all of his career so far. So most passing yards, look great.
I'll tell you what, Mac Jones looked pretty good. I'll say that. And I did say before that Keyshawn Boutte was a good stash. If you did not watch the Eagles-Patriots game, Mac Jones throwing to Keyshawn Boutte in very, very, very important situations. Now, twice he was unable to get his second foot in bounds. However, just seeing that Mac Jones is going there in that situation lets me think, okay, we definitely have a guy who's stash worthy there. Nate, let's go to you for this next one. And again, to reiterate, buy, sell, hold, avoid, Puka Nacua, Roshan Johnson, Rashee Rice, Demario Douglas.
Yep, this is a fun one here. I'm going to go and buy Roshan Johnson. I really liked what he did for the Bears week 1 to get a running back out there and already be making a lot of opportunities. I love it. And he probably saw the highlight where he ran over that one guy. I mean, that's what the Roshan Johnson that we know. He's strong. He might not be the quickest, but he's strong. He's physical. He can catch passes. He does everything you need him to do. He's going to have a role in that offense this year. It's should continue to improve. I don't think Dante Foreman's going to be someone who sticks around, really taking the snaps away. And, there's even a chance that Roshan Johnson at some point, really has that 50-50 split with Khalil Herbert, if not surpasses him, because hey, everyone loves the newest flavor. But so I want to go buy Roshan Johnson, willing to give, if I really need a running back and I don't have any depth, willing to give a second-round pick for him. I am holding on to Rashee Rice. And that feels weird for me because that's not really where I felt before. But that wide receiver room is not good. And he caught a touchdown. He's done more in one game than Sky Moore has done in a whole career so far in his season in a game. So
you stop that. He had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Okay,
that's true. Sorry, fantasy. So I'm going to hold on to Rashee Rice, kind of see what happens because so far he looks the best out of the bunch, and he's a rookie. So, if he's able to take any hold of, that wide receiver room, I think he could be a better sell later. So I'm holding him in hopes of being a better sell. I'm selling Puka Nacua now because I like what I saw with Puka Nacua, but I think that this is a temporary thing. I'm not a believer in the talent that some other people are, so I think this is a very much opportunity, though power to him for making it happen. I'm holding on to Puka Nacua in a couple different spots, but I'm also looking to sell him if I can sell him for a 24-second, and people are that excited about him. If I can flip him for an early to mid 24-second, that's just good business. Nothing against Puka. That's just good business. He's a good flip right now if you can. If someone's giving you thirds, I'd rather just hold on to him, honestly. And then I'm going to go ahead and avoid Demario Douglas. I really don't want any part of that Patriots offense, though they look good. Devontae Parker was out. He'll be back in. I don't know what's going on with Juju. That's really disappointing for me. Kendrick Bourne looked really good. So I don't know if Demario Douglas is really going to continue to be in that top 3 or not.
And, here's the thing. I don't want to avoid any of these guys, but unfortunately for the sake of this exercise, I have to avoid one of them. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to buy Rashee Rice. I'm kind of a believer watching that game. I liked what I saw. And yeah, I know it was only 3 catches for 29 yards and a touchdown, but that offense didn't look like what it normally did. And credit to the Lions defense. The Lions defense played pretty well, I thought.
They did.
I'm going to sell Puka Nacua for the same reason that Nate, you said if you're cashing in, you probably drafted him in the 4th or 5th round of your rookie
Mm-hmm.
draft. I don't want anything less than a third if I can get it, or if it's like multiple thirds or a third and a player that I think is an upgrade over Puka Nacua, I will gladly consider taking it. I didn't say I would do it. I would consider it. I'm going to hold on to Roshan Johnson. I know that the Bears lost. I don't think the Bears are going to be a bad offense all season. I think that he's going to play a part in that, and I agree. Donta Foreman, I don't really think is a threat to Roshan Johnson. And I'm going to avoid Demario Douglas. Yeah, I know I'm believing in Keishawn Butte, but we're talking about a deep stash here. I was avoiding Demario Douglas, Demario, whatever, since before the draft even
Before
happened.
the show sheet.
Yeah, I mean, before this show sheet existed, I was avoiding. So that is what I was doing. And let's go to scenario 3. Again, buy, sell, hold, avoid. We have DeAndre Swift, Christian Kirk, DJ Moore, Cam Akers. Duds of the week, I guess we could call this one.
Yeah.
Who wants to kick it off? Nate, Chev?
Go ahead, Chef. Take this one.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me that one, brother.
Chev is very happy about kicking this one off.
Yeah, this one is just an absolute stinker. Cam Akers got a lot of touches this last week. I'm really not a big believer in what he can do in fantasy. I think he's kind of limited in that offense a little bit. I'm avoiding DeAndre Swift. I just think that offense is not going to be for him. Somehow they're just barely used him last week, and I don't really understand it. But Kenneth Gainwell, maybe he's not healthy this upcoming week. It sounded like he had a little injury that he was fighting with or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be avoiding DeAndre Swift at all costs at this point. He just has not done anything for you in fantasy football just to make you a believer, honestly, at this point. So I am just going to get rid of him. I'm going to be holding DJ Moore. I still believe in the talent. Only throwing to him twice. Can't get any worse, man. I'm telling you, that was just pathetic. Christian Kirk, I'm going to buy into that. I'm going to buy Christian Kirk. I still think he's going to have opportunity in that offense. It's just not looking good in the first game, but that would be a good dip for you to go grab him. I'm going to be selling Cam Akers right now. I just don't believe in him at this point. I mean, Kyron Williams out there producing. I am going to just sell Cam Akers and move on.
Nate, I'll go next if you'd like.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I'll play second fiddle. So I'm going to actually buy DeAndre Swift. And here's why. He only had 2 touches in last game. I think the Kenneth Gainwell experiment is over for the most part. I do listen to an Eagles podcast called the Eagle Eye Podcast. Ruben Frank, Dave Zangaro. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I listen to it multiple times a week when it comes out. They said that they think they were just doing a solid for Kenneth Gainwell because the coaches like him, blah, blah, blah. But he's better suited as a change of pace back. I like Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell was on the field too much. DeAndre Swift needs to get involved. Rashad Penny was a healthy scratch, oddly enough. Rashad Penny doesn't really play special teams. I'm going to sell DJ Moore to Chev. There's still DJ Moore truthers out there. So look, Chev, we'll make a deal later. I'm still going to hang on to Christian Kirk. Not going. He's been my guy for the last 2 years. He's not going anywhere. I'm going to avoid Cam Akers at this point in time. Kyron Williams, maybe he's a thing. Maybe Bob was right all along.
Bob was right.
Yeah, I mean, look, he liked Kyron Williams, but Bob did the right thing that we all do. Kyron Williams fell to the 5th round, kind of got off of him a little bit. This is a guy that you could get cheaply in most places before the season. I thought it was going to be the Cam Akers / Zach Evans show, and I was wrong. Nate, let's go to you. What is your buy, sell, hold, avoid?
Yep, I'm going to be buying DJ Moore. There's hardly any wide receivers as consistent as DJ Moore has been over the past couple of years. Since he came into the league, he's consistently maybe he's not a top tight end, wide receiver, but he's always top 20 wide receiver. He's always getting around that 1,000 yard mark. I have no worries about where he's going to end up this season. So I'm going to be buying DJ Moore. I'm going to be holding on to Christian Kirk. Want to see how that plays out. I think Calvin Ridley is the wide receiver one there, but Christian Kirk should get his. We'll see what happens. I'm a little nervous. I am selling DeAndre Swift. I don't want any part of that Eagles backfield. And I'm actively avoiding Cam Akers, who I've never believed in since he was at Florida State. Pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah. I mean, you've been really steadfast on that. So you're staying strong there.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the last one before our scrub pick'em of the week. Scenario 4, buy, sell, hold, avoid. We got David Montgomery, Tyler Algier, Jamal Williams, and Josh Kelly. Here we go. I'll kick this one off. How's that sound?
All right.
I'm going to buy Joshua Kelly. because I think he has the best value of all these guys right now. It'll make sense in a minute. Makes sense in a minute. I think he's got the best value, probably had the cheapest. He's going to get work. Austin Eckler gets banged from time to time. He has shown that apparently Isaiah Spiller is not going to be a thing. It's going to be Josh Kelly after all. I'm going to sell Tyler Algier because I think that this was probably a 1 week fluke. Look, Tyler Algier is a good back. He's going to be a good back in the NFL. He's going to be a reliable fantasy asset in the NFL. Not with the Atlanta Falcons. It's going to be Bijan's team. Bijan got some good work too, so I'm going to cash in on the Tyler Algier value while I can. I'm going to hold on to David Montgomery. He did exactly what we thought that he was going to do by going from the Bears to the Detroit Lions. Very startable. He's going to be startable every week, even with Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm going to avoid Jamal Williams. I like Jamal Williams. Didn't have a super impressive stat line. But the fact of the matter is, Kendre Miller will return. Alvin Kamara will return. So he's the guy of the four that I would like to avoid. Everybody else is going to have a role, I feel. So you can make a buy, sell, hold argument for the other three guys. And I just think Jamal Williams is the easiest to avoid at this time. Nate, let's kick it to you.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward for me here. I'm going to be buying Josh Kelly for the same reason. I think he's the best value right now. His value might be temporary. When Austin Eckler comes back, Chargers have a bye week 5. So I'm expecting Austin Eckler probably won't play very much between now and then. Bring him back week 6. Josh Kelly will still be relevant, but not the value he is right now. But to have a top running back you can rely on in your flex spot for the next 3 weeks, going out there and buying Josh Kelly, if I can, throw a late third out there, sure, I'm down for it. I'm going to be holding on to David Montgomery, have a ton of shares of Monty, and I'm going to be holding on to him because, like Mike said, he's doing exactly what we thought. It's going to be a little touchdown dependent, but he's going to get his opportunities. Jamal Williams, I am avoiding. Like Mike said, same thing, echo chamber. I'm over there because those guys are coming back. It's going to be a lot of running backs in that backfield, and I don't think that offense is going to be special enough to support all three. And Tyler Algier, I'm going to be selling him. Bijan's backfield's there. I think he's a good sell right now, but I don't think he's the best sell in the world right now because I don't mind holding on to him because I think he will have some value throughout the season. But in this scenario, I'm selling him because I think I can get the best value for him right now.
Let's talk about our underdog scrub pick'em of the week. So, Nate, you said you had some beef with underdog because there's no scrubs on here.
There are no scrubs on underdog. So for our pick'em, we're going to go with Devonta Smith. Not a scrub at all. Never been a scrub. His higher or lower right now, his line is set at 63.5 receiving yards against the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. So we got the Eagles-Vikings at Eagles in Philadelphia, Thursday Night Football. Devonta Smith, 63.5 yards receiving. Higher or lower? What are we feeling? Because the Vikings, they don't have the best defense and like to throw the ball, so it could be a high-scoring game. What do you think, Mike?
I already took the higher.
Yeah.
I'm taking the higher on Devonta Smith every time. And I'll tell you what, as an Eagles fan, as a fantasy football fan, I am so happy I get to watch Devonta Smith play football every single week. He is such a good route runner. And for how slender he is, he's so physical too.
I'm going with the higher as well. I just think that offense is going to explode this upcoming week. I think last week we saw it kind of fizzle out a little bit. I think they come back strong in this Thursday night game where – the defenses might be a little bit ahead. I think that offense shows exactly what they can do this upcoming week.
And Nate, what about you, my friend?
I'm also going higher than 63.5 yards. I think, Devonta Smith is a stud. I think he gets the targets, and they're going to throw the ball a bit against the Vikings. So I think we should see 70, 80 yards out of Devonta Smith. So you go on underdog, use promo code REWIND, and you get your match. You go over to the pick'ems. You put the higher on Devonta Smith, 63.5 yards. Then you combine that with right now, we got Jalen Hurts, higher, lower, 0.5 total yards. I think he's going to be higher. I think he's going to get at least 1 yard. As long as he doesn't pull in Aaron Rodgers, he should get 1 yard.
Come on, man.
So
and that means I have to watch Marcus Mariota play 15 and a half games of football.
We don't want that from Mike. We don't want that from Mike. So Jalen Hurts is going to get more than 0.5 total yards. So you put that with the scrub pick 'em up the week that pays out 3 times whatever you bet. Go out there, make some money.
Take the lower on Madison's rushing yards too.
Ooh.
51. That defense is stout.